with us more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not the us. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with their speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to grieve? You see, we just tell you that why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us.
What's up? Good afternoon.
Nothing's up, man. What's going on with you?
I'm good. To our people out there, happy Flag Day.
Oh, yeah. Today is also Bamboo's birthday.
Mambo Frima, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for many of you who don't know, Mambo Frima is a cousin of George and a classmate of mine. So we all went to CWA together. Great guy. Happy birthday, Mambo. And he had a wonderful kind of initial, ABMF, Austin by Mambo Frima, or Bad MF. That's what we used to call him. He was a good dude, though.
Yes, sir.
So, this is a day of patriots, a day that will fly our flag high. I should go upstairs and get my flag and kind of put it on my shoulders, maybe. At a low break, I'll do that. But
now.
Do you have a flag? Do you have a Liberian flag with you?
No, I don't.
I bet most Liberians don't have a flag with them. So we've been away for a little bit. You want to share with the people like some of the good stuff you've been doing?
No, I haven't been doing anything, man. I went to I was in Vegas from Monday to Wednesday, and that was about it.
Well, I'm back.
Yeah,
I got two of these babies.
I was saying, I just went to Vegas and I was there for 3 days. Went to see a show, and that was about it.
Wonderful. That's one. I love this one.
Well,
red, white, and blue right here.
I don't have one.
Try and get one. Show some patriotism. But folks, I've been really busy. I've been hanging out. It's been fun. This past weekend with the Cardinal University Alumni Association of the Americas, we had a wonderful convention in the hall, not counting the gate intake and all that other stuff. We raised $167,000.
Fantastic.
So that's a good step. George himself is an alumnus of Cottontail.
Yeah, but so let me ask you this: what are you raising that money for?
For Agape Clinic. I know you got some services there.
Where is that?
The clinic on campus. right there by the campus school, right, like kind of behind the football field area there. Yeah.
Okay, so, oh man.
So the entire structure got broken down, dilapidated. Currently, they have a little makeshift clinic as soon as you come on campus, like on the right side there somewhere, which doesn't serve the needs of the student community or either the population around. So we're trying to see how we can rebuild that. That effort was led by Bian Kessler, who actually put up the first money for us to be able to get the drawings and all of that, to have a vision around it. And then, we invited Rich Lou Dennis, Yima Tupman, and the rest of, my crew I usually hang with to come up and, contribute as well as, the Queen contest we usually have. And this year, it was very competitive. 2 years ago, Amazing won. Okay? They edged us. Now, I'm another man. They edged about 1,000 and change, I believe. Last year, we were so hot about it. Amazing were a little scared. They backed off. We won kind of like an easy ride. This year, the competition was very serious. I believe we had like 57,000 we raised. They raised like, I think, 39,000. And Fremont just had a last minute entry. They came in with like 5,000. So it was wonderful, man. It was a wonderful event. I want to give a shout out to Region 3 of the Alumni Association. They really worked. They made everything seem seamless. They had a good crew going from the Friday all-white reception, chilling that night, into the next day, the business meeting. After the business meeting, we stood around like a kind of student center environment for a little bit. Then we rolled out and came and went to the dinner event, which was really, really nice. We had a couple of performers, I believe. Sean P and D12 were the two performers. They did great. Then on Sunday, the cookout, saying farewell to people. We had it at Toshi Zuba and James and Mr. James yard, which is beautifully laid out in the back. I actually did like a little Facebook, live with it. People who can check out my page, they will see that. So yeah, so it was a really, really worthwhile event. And then, meeting a lot of old people, old friends. And then some of the younger folks now are coming towards the Alumni Association, which most organizations should be doing, involving the millennials, the younger Liberians to come on. Yeah. So it was fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But the motherland now. So a lot of stuff been going on. I know today is Flag Day. There was a protest today as well. And I don't know if you saw the U.S. Embassy circular. They have sent something out saying two different student groups. I didn't know which two. I knew that the university students, the SOUP members are going to be, but instead two anti-government student groups. So I don't know who the other group is, but I know that SOUP was at the American Embassy, and I saw, some highlights of it. They had a very good turnout, on Flag Day. And I think that's the right thing for government to do. Let people express the issues, their misgivings. It's a constitutional.
But so did Koji bring his group out there?
I didn't hear or see any clashes. The portion I watched, there were no clashes. And Koji would say that not his group, but everybody else would say that his group. So that is something that has to be sorted out.
The man was wasn't he on the radio saying nobody would take their
right? That was like I believe that was a couple of years ago that he made that statement. But the thing about those kind of statements, they hound you. Because when you make those kind of declarative statements, it puts people on edge in the first place. And then when stuff happens and some of the corporates are people who engage you and stuff like that, all arrows point to you, all fingers point to you. So that is some of the stuff that Koji has been faced with. And he has to be the one, to really clear his name about all this stuff.
I understand he was here not too long ago.
Yeah, he was in the U.S. The purpose, I don't really know. There's been all kind of talk and gossip about why he was here. but at some point, the purpose of the visit will be manifested. I do know he was in Rhode Island, and there was a protest from people in the community why he was being invited. So I think they had like a closed session. I don't know what the attendance was like. And people were angry with those who organized the event. So a lot of stuff, a lot of sentiment is being built against this government, and I don't know if they don't realize it. They may think it's only
Well, I mean,
but it's more than
all
that.
of it is self-inflicted.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
All of it is self-inflicted. Sadly, Mr. Weah has not done anything to address the concerns that people have raised about the government, and his continued recalcitrance or his inability to demonstrate that he's serious is what's bringing a lot of these things on to him. For example, he appointed this man Conley to RIA. In spite of all the objections that people raised about Conley, he still put him forward for confirmation.
And I could not understand that. Objectively, if you look at Conley, he has no fit with that position. Nothing in his past demonstrate that any of the key functions of the head of the airport authority.
I mean, at a minimum, they want you to have a bachelor's degree. He doesn't have one. At a minimum.
Yes. So how will you even put that kind of candidate? I mean,
right.
I don't understand these people around the president,
Well, I don't understand the president. I'm sure the president understands what it means. He knows what that basic requirement is, because even
text me, I want to show.
Even he had to rush to finish his bachelor's degree. And so how is it that he doesn't understand this?
I mean, he understands. I think it's just an ego thing. He's just obstinate about, responding to people, or in his mind succumbing to people, and which Mr. is very stupid. That could be his downfall.
Mr. Weah has to understand that when you paint a picture and you put that picture in your window, it's not just the people who are living in your house who are going to see that picture. The people who drive by your house are also going to see that picture.
Right.
Okay. And so the people who are driving by Liberia's house are the economic community. I mean, the international community.
Right.
Okay. And they see the government of Liberia as unserious.
Very unserious.
When it comes to addressing the type of deficits that they're talking about. So I really don't understand where he's going. I watched part of Conley's confirmation hearing, and it was
a disaster.
It was sad.
Yes, very pitiful.
Yeah.
The
guy, he doesn't meet the minimum of having a college degree. He is not an engineer, but he's trying to say he's an engineer.
Yeah, he was trying to make something rational about based on the position that he become an engineer. Is he stupid?
Listen, here's the thing. That the senators didn't understand, and I use this all the time. There's a difference between an architectural engineer and a maintenance engineer. You understand what I'm saying?
I fully understand what you're saying. But
the architectural engineer can design the house. He can lay it out for you. He can tell you where all the plugs are going to be and all of that. Okay? Then you will get a construction engineer to come and build the house.
To actually build the house, right?
Okay? The maintenance engineer is not technically an engineer.
No, he's not.
He's just the guy who takes care of the house after the house is built.
Right.
Okay?
Maintenance.
He
Is the key
does
word
the
there, not engineer.
maintenance. He doesn't know how the house was built. He couldn't design you a house. He couldn't build a house. But guess what? I got a guy coming in today to replace one of my water heaters. That's his job. And he's very good at it. But it doesn't make him a water heater engineer.
No, he's not. You see that practical
Okay? He
work.
is just the installer. Okay? I know how to connect this pipe. I know how to connect that pipe. But in terms of the people who put the regulators and all that kind of stuff on the unit, he doesn't know anything about that.
And that applies to our lawmakers too. I don't think they understand these different positions based on many of the confirmation hearings I've seen, I've heard. Their questions are superficial. They don't really get to the bottom. So it's only that initial smell test. If somebody doesn't pass, that they deny them on. They don't go to the intricacies of the position, the different dependencies, and how the people relate, and how they can bring a holistic solution to whatever the key mandates are for that particular appointment or that particular position. So there's a lot to be desired on all sides, and it's up to Liberian people at some point, man. We can keep talking. We have to do that mindset change, or things will just stay the same. Really.
But here's my thing, right? Mm-hmm. I think they what to call it, people. I think the legislators did a poor job. Okay? Because they should not have even gone into this hearing.
Thank you. They should have a baseline requirement that somebody meet before.
If the job requires you to have a bachelor's degree at a minimum, and you don't check that box, you don't even qualify for the hearing.
And they don't set those things. They don't do it. And that's the that is something that how
because that would have disqualified Conley from the beginning.
Yeah, Mr. President, your candidate does not meet the basic requirements. You cannot accept him.
I'm looking at this idiot Milton Tieje, who says he will vote for him. And I'm saying to myself, are these the same people who were making noise about people being qualified, about nepotism, about favoritism? And now he has an opportunity to make a serious contribution, and that's his contribution?
Yes. Again, we've talked about this several times, about these progressives, many of them, and the noise they make, and the lack of actual functional capabilities, for all the positions that they have held, all the different power they have had to make change. They have not. They probably just can't. So, and then TJ is a stool for the government too. So how he positions stuff is what it is to favor the government. And we got a comment here from Titi Nimlin. She said, I don't know why people think George Weah is not corrupt. He is the mastermind behind everything that's happening in the country. Worst case, yes, he is. Best case, he's an accomplice. There is no way
corrupt.
You as a leader, huh?
He's corrupt.
Okay, there you go. There is no way you as a leader would be experiencing all these things under your administration. And if you are not involved, would not try to clean up or make a difference or change people. But you continue to keep incompetent people, unqualified people, actually corrupt people who your own integrity institutions have found to be corrupt. You continue to keep them in that position. There is no way you can say you're not corrupt. Seriously, George Weah is very, very, very corrupt. And his corruption has spread worse across the entire governance system. That everybody believes they must get their own. And right now, with the uncertainty about where the elections will go, everybody is on a hunt. Everybody is trying to get something. Whatever they can get from government now is what they will do. Even though the sanctions may scare some people, but some people will say that last rush, they will still do what they want to do. So, it's just a sad thing where the country is, and we really have to figure out how we can move this country forward, how different people can participate. The primary way is through elections and being able to educate people to understand that what's happening in Liberia today, we're not doomed for that to happen consistently. No, there are other options out there. There are other competent people who want to lead this country, who can make that difference. Okay, at the top of that line, I'll put Mr. Alexander Cummings. No question. If you don't want Mr. Alexander Cummings at all, there's somebody called Gonglo. But Liberian people have to come to a place where they can try to see, and that responsibility is on all of us. Simply because our forebears did not educate these people who are out there today. After the war, the education system went rotten. During and after, Madam Salif, who was supposed to rebuild that, she did not. Obviously, this government came in, and what have they done with the education system is messier than it was before. No head, no tail. I bet today, if we could actually collect data, we have more children not in school today than during Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf period. Simply because it's so much harder for the parents today that needed their kids them selling in the street. The hustle is extremely hard. So until more of us feel like we owe our country and want to invest in the people there, it's seriously a lucky ticket. If you put your effort into somebody, you know whether you realize that effort. But you have to try. We have to be able to mentor somebody, find some people that just sometimes simple conversation can help change that person's mindset, can help improve their insight, how they see things. A lot of people are hesitant and scared because they feel like as soon as you engage in the beginning, they will ask you for money, they will start begging. But you can sidestep the begging. You can tell them, look, I'm trying to build a relationship with you. It's not about money. It can be about money because it's not sustainable. But let's have these conversations. Let's see how we can work. Once a week, engage those people. Mentoring is not an easy thing. It's critical, but it's very difficult.
Look, Mobile Collie, I would not accept for you to be insulting Jefferson Koji on this show. Jefferson Koji just got a PhD from some group in Liberia. So you need to show the man some respect. Okay?
So also you're suggesting that only PhD must show respect if somebody got PhD, they must cost that?
My man, look. Who else can get a PhD from some sidewalk group?
No, and that's the thing. People take the education for joke. It's not a joke, folks.
But here's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It shows you how unserious Koji himself is. Because I'm sure he knows who these guys are.
But he knows about money eaters. He knows about sycophants.
So at the end of the day, why would you even allow this kind of thing to happen?
Sit there and go through it and then say thank you. That was, okay. Koji is like, or has been like a son to me. And that relationship can always be restarted and be rebuilt. Yeah, it's dead, whatever right now. But that was my least expectation that Koji would sit there and go.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is the basis on which the relationship would be rebuilt?
With who?
With Koji.
You mean our relationship in terms
Your
of
relationship with him? What is the basis?
in rebuilding or the origin?
No, in rebuilding it.
Oh, in rebuilding, but maybe I'm an optimist in everything. Okay,
Look,
because I right now, George, if my son were to murder somebody or kill somebody or do so many stupid things against the principles I've instilled in him, I would still love him as a son. I would
guess
agree
what?
with it. What?
That's different.
But
That's
Kobe is
different.
somebody he was like a son to me. George.
No.
I don't
Here's the thing,
separate too
right?
much. I don't separate too much blood from relationships.
Listen,
I don't do that.
Isaac, let me say this
And my
to you.
brother can testify to that. But go ahead.
I am an atheist, and everybody knows it.
I didn't mention nothing about God yet just now.
Okay, the Bible says, in order for you to get forgiveness, what must you do?
You must be contrite and ask for it, right?
It says you must first confess your sins.
Yes.
You have to admit that you did it. Okay? Before you can even begin to talk about forgiveness.
No, I don't disagree with that. You don't just forgive blindly and somebody don't care. No.
We even see this throughout the judicial system, right? When people are convicted and they're sentenced and they are up for parole. If you're not willing to say, I did it,
right?
You're like, okay, stay until serve your time.
Serve your term. Right.
Okay, if they give you 20 years or if they give you 7 to 20 and 7 come around, you still are not willing to say, I'm the one that did it. They say, okay, just go back. So my point is the basis for repairing that relationship with Koji.
Oh, it requires some definite hard talk, apology.
To first come say, I have sinned or I have done wrong. What do you believe the likelihood is that he will ever do it?
I'm not putting anything on it, and it will not matter in terms of whether he does or not, because I've moved on in terms of
Let me
that
tell you something, okay?
Kind of
Let me tell you what I've learned in life, Isaac. Okay? People don't change their behavior. They just don't.
I disagree.
If he's a child, that's different. Koji is an adult man.
I did some behavioral changes as an adult, George. If you are conscious and committed to change, you can do it.
People don't change their behavior.
Man, George, people do change their behavior.
In terms of their morality, they don't change. By the time you are 21, 22 years old, that stuff is baked into who you are.
But George, there have been some reborn racists, people who grew up totally racist, totally discriminatory, and they eventually change. You can't. I mean, that's too absolute, George. You can't just say nobody can change that stuff. I mean, that one I disagree.
Well, put it to you this way:
whoever the Facebook user, George is not right. People can change. Trust me, people can change.
Let me tell you.
Most people don't change. I will accept it. You'll say most people don't change. But
let me tell you about the problem with guy in Liberia, Isaac. Part of the problem with guy in Liberia is look at the people in the legislature. Huh? Most of these people are former criminals.
Current criminals too, if you ask me.
Okay, but some of them are criminals from Taylor time. Okay, you know what has impacted the growth and development of Liberia more than anything? The fact that these people are still involved in government.
Oh, no question. But George, we said that when the peace accord was going on, the comprehensive peace agreement, we said it. Those people,
yes, everybody has the capacity for change, but they don't. They don't change.
I agree. Most people don't change. That I can agree. Most people don't change.
They don't change.
By the time those behaviors set in, it's hard to change.
It's hard.
Very hard. But George, what I'm saying is, when
do you think the benefits that Koji has gotten from being mayor, he's prepared to relinquish those benefits in as a part of a confession? No. So I don't think he will ever change. It's who he is, because the benefits he's gotten have defined him.
Well, he was defined a different way before. Whether he can revert to that's another issue. But he was
just a thief without opportunity.
That's where most people are, right?
Exactly. He's a thief without opportunity.
So, but Josh, the point that we're making now about this country that we say we love. If we say people can change, then we should forget about the country
No, 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 no,
because
no. Here's the thing.
uh-huh.
What have I told you before, Isaac? I don't care about honest people. I don't.
Systems
Okay?
will force them
I
to
don't.
change processes,
I want
procedures.
systems that impose integrity. You understand? The
Mhm.
reason these people steal the way they do is because they know that they will not get caught.
Right.
Unless America come and say, look, we know this joker is stealing.
And even when they get caught, they can tell our people because they believe our people are ignorant that I'm stealing the money, I'm building my house here, my grandchild will come enjoy the house. It's beautiful right in your community.
Right. So at the end of the day, listen, if you put me in Liberia without systems, I'm stealing everything. Everything I'm stealing. Even the Potaro I was stealing.
Many of the people who follow you hate to hear you say that. Because
why? Then build the systems.
Okay,
the point I'm making to you guys is,
but George, I know some people who have had opportunities to steal and don't steal. So what do you say about that?
And guess what?
What?
The people around them were stealing. So it don't make no difference. It hasn't made a difference.
Well, you can't stop other people from stealing.
5 honest people in Liberia can't change the country. 100 honest people in Liberia can't change the country. We need systems of integrity. If you're not willing to put those systems in, this is a continuous conversation.
I'm totally in agreement that we need those systems like yesterday. They are so critical.
We need those systems.
Yes. And this government will never put in any system. I don't care how much people love George Weah. The first thing, the concept of systems he doesn't understand. It's the people who are supposed to be working for him who are supposed to put the system together. But those people, their intent is to steal. And many of them are not qualified for the critical positions they are in. Those people who are supposed to be implementing these systems or thinking about it or deciding which options, which direction to go, which system is better, which model out there is more effective for us to use, they're not focused on them, or most of them don't have the experience from the finance minister down. They have no real exposure and experience in a corporate or work environment structure to be able to bring these fundamental changes to Liberia. They don't.
So as we talk about Cummings, this is what I'm prepared to say. We have to approach Liberia as if it has nothing. And here's why.
But George, it really has nothing. Seriously.
Nothing works.
And I said
let's not think that there's something to build on.
No, everything's scrap.
Everything has to start from scratch.
I mean, some simple processes are not there. Some simple principles of governance are not there. I mean,
I was going through back in when did Ellen first take power?
2006.
Okay. I was going through a database backup that I had made. Okay? And it was a database of all of the government entities and their relationships to each other. I just stumbled on it this morning.
Wow.
Okay? And it was and everybody who is an executive officer in every agency, every position that is an executive officer position in that agency. Okay? I can't tell you how long it took me, but the fact that I had this thing all laid out in a relational database, I know it took me a long time.
So you had a separate ERD diagram?
Yes.
What entity relationship?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's impressive. I would love to see that.
Let me see if I can even bring it up.
That would be good for people to see because and that's the other thing though. I don't know if some of these people even read the law that created the entity that they're managing and like all the functions that it's supposed to be executing and really come to not necessarily Jesus, but come to the table with their people and see, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? If we're not, what are the things we're not doing? And when we identify those things, how can we do them effectively? Who impacts us? Who are we dependent on to do our work? How can we get them to respect that our work depends on their effort? They have to do X, Y, Z for us to do ABC. So all of those things, those relationships that you just talk about between different agencies and ministries and commissions and X, Y, Z, they're so critical. Right now, we got so many different intergovernmental, teams going on, but we don't see the results of the work. So it's really really tough, man. It's really tough. How we do it, I'm still in terms of moving first, because that's the first step. The first step is um Tiger is say my brother, this yes sir started worse off since 1980 of the present. That's true.
Yep.
Sycophancy kills the country. Sycophancy, paying homage, kissing ring, brown nosing, all of those things. I mean, some of the arguments that so many people make to justify all of these crazy actions is I can't understand it. But just moving on, George. Did you hear George Solo this? I mean, Solomon George this week.
Yeah, I heard that, and it was very disturbing. It was very disturbing.
Did you hear the spin he tried to put on it?
Where he said people should disappear.
Yeah, but he was he he came back later on and did an interview on talking about he was talking about putting them in jail for them to disappear, as if to say people are supposed to believe that. Solomon George
No.
was like a big brother to me back in the day. That was my man, Solo. But that statement he made, I think it's just trying to win favor with George Weah, because he basically said it himself. He's out of favor right now, and the president needs to be meeting with him weekly. Maybe when
Hmm.
he suggests that kind of nonsense about people disappearing. You already hear about all these people who have been murdered. Some people disappear, they can't account for them. And
Hmm.
then you publicly, as a lawmaker, say all the people who causing problem for the government, you make them disappear. What do you expect people to think? What do you expect people to think? Well, he
Yeah.
tried to explain it, TT. He tried to explain what he means, but it made no sense to me based on what he actually said. And I've been trying to find the actual recording of what he said to kind of relate it to his response to what he said, but I haven't been able to find it. That's the thing about those things. Sometimes once you come across them and you don't keep it, you tend to lose where is that. So, but in essence, I just think he's trying to get
Wow.
back in the good graces of President Weah. And in one voice, in the other recording, he was talking about how successful, President Weah has been. But in the next voice, he will basically cry on President Weah. Yeah, TD, please send it. Um, if you want to send it to West app, you can send it to this number.
Yeah. Is
Yes,
that? Let me see. Share video. Let me see.
because people make these statements sometimes and they come back and try to put a spin on it or explain it as if to say people did not understand what they meant. Look, if you watch that video when he said it, Joe, we face changed. We was like taking it back. And then when he kept talking and saying something, people were clapping, and we are clapped like a little. But we himself was shocked.
All right, Isaac. I'm trying to share my screen with you.
All right, go ahead.
Um. Let me see.
That's what the entity diagram and the
Can you see
relationship.
this?
Yeah, yes, I see it. I mean, add it to the stream.
I don't know if people will be able to make any sense of it.
No, most likely, but you have to explain it. But did you move it? I click add to stream, but
Okay, hold on. I will move it to another window. Yeah.
you should be able to share yourself, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, if you move it to another window, share it. I hope you got my number.
Okay, I've shared it.
Is it a screenshot only? You
No, it's
can,
not a screenshot. It's a live video. See where it says George Farm? Can you make that thing large?
but if I let me add it to the stream and see. So that's it. You see it?
Yeah. Okay, so basically, yeah, this is good. So what I was doing with this stuff, Isaac,
Uh-huh.
is I had put together. Oh shit! I'm sorry, bad French. Um, I had put together this stuff here
Uh-huh.
with all. This is about 111 roles of different kinds of institutions within the government or entities within the government.
Oh, who's that?
Okay,
Wait, somebody provoking Maureen, or is it Maureen will listen to you?
Maureen who?
Who else, Maureen? Maureen Famule. The
Oh, okay,
last comment. Maureen Famule,
okay,
listen to your brother.
okay.
It's good to know Maureen
So,
watching. Hi, Maureen. Go ahead.
so you see this list here? This is all these are all of the ministries and agencies in the Liberian government.
Right.
Okay, at least as of 2007. This one here is 441 rules.
Mm-hmm.
These are all of the executive officers or executive positions
So like
within every
minister,
agency.
deputy minister, assistant minister, director,
Right.
general, deputy director. Okay, got you.
Okay. So there's all of this, and we even talk about entities under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Right.
Okay.
Seem like entities under Ministry of Justice, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So you got Ministry of Finance. These are all of the executive officers.
Right.
What's in here? So these are the different types of entities
Hey,
that
Reggie, you're right, Reggie. You are very correct.
I had come up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ministries, agencies, commissions, authorities, and public corporations,
Right.
universities, community colleges, hospitals,
Wow.
embassies. Okay, and I started to do this to put this thing together. But the whole thing here was what I was trying to do is I was trying to build a what do you call that thing, man?
Like an inner agency
An
database.
organizational tree.
Okay.
Okay.
That's your background there.
Yes. So I was trying to build an org tree for the entire government. And so everywhere you would have those executive officers, you would need to plug in an individual. Okay. But then you could put this tree and actually visualize it and see who these people are and what's responsible for their functions. And I mean, it doesn't really say much about what we're talking about here, but I think even on a fundamental level, that's the type of basic organization that you need somebody in the government to do.
Oh, well, a question, and that's where the Minister of State, that Ministry of State, has that huge responsibility to coordinate across government. And all McGill was focused on is like the financial points, nothing else, no other coordination, no other push for anything. Just where the money was coming from was what he wanted to deal with. So, I want to see where the president goes with this, because he himself is not supposed to be dealing with McGill, you know, because the president is a U.S. person, whether he wants to say or not, he is. So he can't be dealing with McGill. That's a problem. But that's up to him to decide that. The bottom line is McGill has really, really messed this government up from inception or even
Let
prior
me
to
tell you something,
inauguration.
okay? I don't, I'm no fan of McGill,
Uh-huh.
okay? But let's not leave everything on McGill.
No, he's not alone.
Okay,
But he's the
because
he's the
we got
operator.
people like we got people like Twe. Okay, I mean you can go up and down the government.
But that's why they say they got nearly 40 sanctions. I heard 21, now I'm hearing 40.
Oh,
So
but you know what the funniest thing is? This is the funniest thing I've read in the last year. The Minister of Justice,
oh my God, that other story.
okay, while trying to dispute that the letter was sent from him, talking to Front Page Africa, literally gave them his email address to publish.
But that should be public.
No, it shouldn't. It should not be public.
Why the Minister of Justice?
The Minister of hold on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Minister of Justice,
Right,
in his executive function, should not have a public-facing email. He shouldn't.
All right, maybe there's
info when you
at
get to the executive level.
justice.com.
When you get to the executive level, you don't publish their emails. But here's the thing, okay? What I found very interesting about the story, and let me just bring it up here real quick, is he went on to say the email address, deanmusa95@gmail.com,
was not his.
Okay, so what does that tell you?
That he denies that the email address is his?
No.
And he offers up 2 email addresses that are his?
Is it no?
And the first thing, those are personal email address.
Exactly.
But
so
that's
the fact is,
for how long have we been talking about that?
So the fact is that he is alleging that Cephas forged a letter and attached an email address to the letter that wasn't his.
Yeah.
But this is what that means. It means that that email address actually belonged to somebody. It probably belongs to Cephas. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because the government doesn't have an email system, this represents a huge security breach. Because it's a letter that went out on Ministry of Justice letterhead.
Supposedly a forged letterhead.
Okay, fine. But it went out on Ministry of Justice letterhead, and it had an email address there that the government of Liberia has no way of policing.
But that's standard across government, right? Basically, when people leave, all that stuff leave with them.
But exactly. So this should bring to the fore into the mind of the Minister of Justice as to why it's important for the government of Liberia to have an email system.
But I don't know if the national security incorporates anything about technology and cybersecurity. They don't. It's just technology is not a part of this government's focus in terms of.
So somebody, but okay, fine, I accept that. The bigger problem, Isaac, is this actually happened in the Ministry of Justice to the Minister of Justice. And his remedy for that was to publish his email and say to the whole world, this is my email.
That should have been an immediate investigation. If that really is, that's a criminal act.
But verifying your email doesn't solve the problem.
It does not. I agree with you on that. Definitely, it needs to be a case.
It doesn't. So let's go back, Isaac, to the question we were talking about. Even when you work for a company, you have your company email.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the only people who contact you on that company email are people who are looking to do company business.
That's what it should be.
Okay? You have your private email.
Right.
The two never mix.
They shouldn't mix.
So when I said that the Minister of Justice should not have a public-facing email, he shouldn't have an email that everybody in the country has access to.
No, he shouldn't. That part I agree with.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a huge security problem. And that's the first thing I caught in the whole thing that I read. The fact that the Minister of Justice's solution to somebody giving out a fake email for him was to publish in Front Page Africa his email addresses.
And you know, that would have been his immediate response, but I think a Minister of Justice should come up with a more holistic response to that kind of stuff, not just an immediate denial.
And that is why the next government will need to have a cabinet level position that deals with technology.
No, there has to be a technology czar. I totally agree.
Okay.
Because there are just
Completely.
so many low-hanging fruits that technology, the application of technology across so many different sectors can make a huge difference for the country. And, you know, people say the same recalcitrance you were talking about or the resistance to change. Look, it got to be clear. If your government policy is there, if you're a government official and we say you got to use official government email, you're not using government email, you get fired. It gotta be like no acceptance or resistance to the change effort that technology and other things can bring. And until we realize that how critical those things are, we're not going
So,
anywhere.
for example, let's say you decide to replace the Minister of Justice. All of the government correspondence that happened when he was Minister of Justice,
that should be archived. Yes.
You don't have
right now it goes
continuity.
with him. Right now it goes with him. But that should be archived information that the previous person can go and search that particular email and
correct.
And,
because you need that for continuity.
And it's just, I mean, there's nothing like that. You know, I mean, the transition from one government to the next. There was no
here's the other thing.
Uh-huh.
He described, and it tells me that these people are not serious. In the article, it says he described the letter as a complete forgery, right? In the making of CFAs. Didn't these people just arrest or try to prosecute Cummings for forgery?
Exactly. So it's a forgery case right there.
Okay, so why isn't CFAs arrested yet?
Or at least the rate of arrest issue.
He should be.
Himself.
If the Justice Minister, the top law enforcement officer, is saying this guy works for me and he forged a document in my name, by now he should be arrested.
What's the comment?
No, I'm looking at the letter, right? You know, when you appoint stupid people, it's a bad thing. Let me send you the link to the article. Bring the article up and look at the reference. Letter of complaint.
Oh, yeah. But CFA, but you know CFA in his commentary, CFA reference that the Justice Minister can write.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. He did. In CFA's long diatribe, he mentioned that the Justice Minister puts out stuff with, you know, very incomplete sentences, this, that, the other. But stuff that had come from there, even in the early stages, Musa didn't let some stuff slip. So now one of them, I think his name was misspelled that he let slip. Yes. So I don't know if Musa Dean has his own limitations or he just not looking at some of these things. But there's a lot of things to be desired in the people who are the leaders in this government. You know.
Okay, so I mean, what is his
So
official
what's
title?
specific about this article you want to share with people?
No, I mean just you didn't you haven't read this article, right?
Well, I didn't read the article, but I read his response.
Okay, so if my point is if Musa Dean says that this is a forgery by Cephas,
Why is he not bringing a case?
why is he not bringing charges? It's not just enough to suspend Cephas.
No.
Musa Dean is alleging a crime.
But that's separate. That's separate from his sanctions. What he has done here, if Musa Dean, if this, he said he sent the email address deanmusa95@gmail.com that appears on the letter is not his. And his address is Musa Dean at Yahoo and Frank M. Dean Jr. at Gmail. Then that's forgery, impersonification, all that kind of stuff that's going to be charged against Cephas.
Right.
And so why is he not bringing it? You know, so and the fact is, he has been accusing Cephas of criminal acts. Cephas have been accusing him, and they have never put anything on paper and move it towards the court or to move it to some independent body to investigate. So that whole ministry,
but at this point, we passed the independent body. The Minister of Justice is alleging a forgery by the Solicitor General. You know, as a lawyer, Cephas's license should be automatically suspended.
Cephas' action from before, even before the trial, with all the other stuff, with his stuff, with what the girl name, who was formerly at the airport authority.
Cochran,
Ellen Cochran. All of those kind of engagements and stuff, they sat there and let those things go simply because of Cephas' connection to George Weah. You know? So until we can really, really have, like somebody said earlier, a leader who is willing to prosecute people, we are in a tough bind.
Well, you know, at this point, technically, you know, the Minister of Justice is the one person who should not be taking orders from the president.
True.
Okay? So there's no reason why Musa Dean cannot move on this by himself.
Oh, but he has that autonomy. Really, he does.
Okay? So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here.
Maybe that part of the society to remain halfway on the bus, but try to keep the other part of him functional. This is amazing, man. We have a mess. We have a mess on our hands, and if that cookie really starts to crumble, it will crumble so drastically. You know, we won't even know what's happening. But let's wait for the other sanctions. Let's wait for the other sanctions and see where they go.
Yeah, I just found it really shocking.
No, but you see, George, too, there's a lot of things sometimes our press people don't pick up because the awareness is not there about how significant these things are. So the little nuances that lead to bigger things, they tend to miss it. They tend to focus on just the obvious stuff. So, you know, so the Justice Minister, does he have moj.gov.lr email address?
Yeah, he should, because they have a functioning domain.
But you know how domains are nowadays, though.
No. If you have a domain, you have the email.
You may have one email, and you got to pay for the rest. Sometimes that's how they have parsed all this stuff now. They're selling all this stuff independently.
Well, you know what? When so here's the deal. No. Here's the deal, right? Because I have a professional hosting account.
Right.
Okay. And in that professional hosting account, what you pay for is space.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
don't
that's
pay
what
for
hosting is.
individual accounts.
That's what hosting is. Yeah, hosting.
Okay, so if I'm hosting somebody's domain,
Uh-huh.
I have so much space to give them even with the email server.
Right.
Okay, but then if I want to make money, I can sell it to them one at a time.
But that's what the providers are doing now. They have parsed out all those things. You can get one free email, then you got to pay for additional email or whatever. Many of them are
Well,
doing it. You get a domain.
it just depends on the type of provider they go to.
Yeah, some gave you all, some gave you limited, some gave you. It depends on the package too, that people buy. But anyway, hopefully he does have a formal professional Ministry of Justice email that he can use. But man, ignore your brother Bobby, please. I beg you, ignore Bobby. Bobby is so insignificant to anything that we want to think or talk about for Liberia. Don't even bother with him. So some people want us to play this portion of this tape from Solomon George. I don't know if that's the one you saw, the one where he's addressing the press. Actually, the real story where it started from was him speaking to President Weah, not him addressing the press. But this part is revealing. George, can you hear it?
I can hear it.
To come to power, and we cannot fight after plundering this country politically. Then we are kicked away. I have worked for you before. I worked with you before. You know what I am made of. I am truthful. I have never lied to you before. I will always fight for you. But guess what? Loyalty is not permanent. Loyalty must be honest. When people that are loyal to you, Mr. President, that loyalty is not honest, they will walk away. I'm saying it to you. I think you've heard that before. I'll say it again, Mr. President. Loyalty is not permanent. Loyalty must be honest. If people that are loyal to you, Mr. President, are not cared for by you, Mr. President, they will walk away. I give an example. Let people say what they want to say. I have been keeping, you brought me to this big town politics. I've been keeping district number 7 for you. You, Mr. President, you cannot show us what you gave to district number 7. But I'm still keeping the people for you. Hoping that you will take a 12 years down so you can finish what you started. Mr. President, stop dying with the devil. Take it very serious. We need something that we have to work on called the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Mr. President, let your finance minister explain to you what Sovereign Wealth Fund is. We need to go to it. Our country is rich. Some of your wise men have not been speaking to you positively. So you need to leave some of those wise men, and come to some of the people like me who can talk nonsense. I talk my nonsense, you take the sense out of it, you throw the non outside.
Isaac, pause it for a second.
Before, my grandma said, when someone is talking, they're talking nonsense, listen to them, take the non and throw away, use the sense for a forward march.
Isaac, can you pause it for a second?
Yeah, I did. I just stopped sharing.
Don't stop sharing.
Okay.
These people are organically stupid. Okay? They hear these things on the radio or on the news or wherever they watch, and they have no idea what it means.
Oh, you mean the Sovereign Wealth Fund?
Yes.
Oh no, he has no. But any man say, let a Minister of Finance explain. I'm not even sure the Minister of Finance will understand what a Sovereign Wealth Fund is.
Okay. But you have a country that is running an eternal deficit. You have a country that is getting payroll support from the international community. And this fool is talking about Liberia establishing a sovereign wealth fund. I mean, the amount of stupid in that conversation is unimaginable. Broke people don't have sovereign wealth funds.
And that's what they don't understand. It's your surplus as a government that you drive towards that.
Right.
But anyway,
but my point is he's sitting on a chair and he's recording this to think he's making sense. I mean, he literally thinks he's making sense.
Yeah, what Shafa say? They cannot even manage a road fund. He's talking about sovereign wealth.
Okay, you're begging for money every day. You look at how much money the European Union is giving you. You look at how much money the United States is giving you, and you think they are going to give you money if you have the capacity to establish a sovereign wealth fund?
The opportunities to have started building those from different concessions and everything, they were all false.
Yes, Reggie, I agree. They are irredeemable idiots.
Damn.
Organically stupid people.
I won't know Reggie Nassau. Reggie Nassau has been dropping some bad stuff here. No, but George, these concession agreements that Ellen signed, that the Mo Stevens report reviews, 66 out of 68 were just totally not complying with our laws. This government should have revisited most of those concessions. I don't even know what the state of the concessionaires or the concessions are today, how much has changed in that sector. But all of these things in opposition what we're talking about, and it's just so sad that they can't even get a grasp. They're just looking for the low-hanging, quick money, stealing, rather than doing something substantive that benefits the entire country. But let's hear from Mr. George Steele.
Some of us need to meet you on a weekly basis. You and I started life way back. Today we are, and God has put us to lead Liberia and not to rule Liberia. Some of your wise men have turned into rulers and not leaders. And most, if not all, of your wise men you are having in the cabinet, they are mean to the Liberian people. Very stingy. Very, very mean. What I'm saying here today, I want someone to counter me. Even you, Mr. President, tell me, say, Solomon George, you lie. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, the 7th is an abomination. I'm not a liar. I will never lie to you. We need, the CDC needs a come to Jesus meeting. To the Liberian people, my people, we beg you. We hold your feet. I beg you. I do not remember a time I have lied to the Liberian people. These people want to get rid of George Manewia because they see to it that he will surely win the next election. I'm begging you people to talk to your children, not to be jumping in the streets. Yesterday, Sunday, between 11 and 12 o'clock, a group of motorcyclists with backups behind them, over 30 motorcyclists were carrying machetes. Doing what? Can't you see that the entire country is becoming lawless?
But when did he recognize this?
People are putting roadblock up country. They are speaking to us, you're listening to us, but we refuse to listen to them. So they will go wayward. Our people are speaking to us, we need to listen to them. Mr. President, I'm appealing to you. You are somebody who, when you give your
Look,
ear,
Isaac, move that man from our TV, man. Move that man. Move it.
But George, you heard what he said, right?
I'm not coming to spend my entire day listening to this bullshit from Solomon George. You'll excuse me on that other side. Okay?
But George, Solomon George is indicting the president. You can.
I understand he's indicting the president, but he turned right around and said the president should disappear people.
Yes.
Okay?
No, that
So
was
he's
his defense of the
basically-
disappear statement there. That particular interview, the early part was not there, but that's when he defended his statement about people disappearing. He addressed that first before he got to the president. But I've known Solomon for a very long time. Solomon tries to be a straightforward person who says most time whatever comes to his mind, and sometimes it may not be the most rational, sensitive things, but at least you know where Solomon George stands on most issues, and you can draw your judgment from there. Unfortunately, he's not as informed as he should be as a lawmaker to be able to really make the desired impact.
He's
I
not
mean,
very bright.
huh?
He's not very bright.
Oh, maybe Gus, I didn't say the part. Well, the first thing he told me the people around the president. He did, I think, mention about the people on sanctions. Then he also talked about his people in West Point that he has been pushing to support the president, where he gets significant support for, and he hasn't done anything for them. And if you look at it, if you just exclude the little zing that he put on a few houses in what they call the area name in Gibraltar, if you go beyond that, you realize that he has really not done anything for all the people who support him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's from the lack of a comprehensive development plan.
Oh,
Okay,
that's another point.
That's so. What Solomon George is asking for here is the Band-Aid treatment. Everybody who complains, you do something for them. Everybody who complains, you do something for them. And most of the time, what you're doing is tokenism. It's not significant. It's not substantial. Okay? Now, let's just come and be realistic about West Point, about New Crew Town. Those communities cannot survive the next 10 years with sea level rise and all the things that are going on.
No.
Okay.
No.
In other parts of Monrovia, you have people filling in the marshland. Okay. So at the end of the day, any long-term planning would be about how to relocate those people. And you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people.
From all those combined communities, yes.
Close. From all of those combined communities, and put the land to a different use. Now, Can you marry the two? You probably can.
You should be able to. The land use got to have some returns to those people.
Exactly.
And in relocating them, there got to be economic opportunities for them created in wherever. So it's all, again, it's national development planning, it's long range.
It's a national development plan.
And we have not been able to do that. All the way we have called for, this national development plan to be something that legislated, that is continuous, that nobody can just come and then select what they want to do, as opposed to following a pathway, a ratified plan that we must all do to really have our check and balances, our progression monitor, and be able to say, yes, the government of Liberia is moving in this direction. Government is continuous, and that should be something that should happen. If you come in and is in that time frame where the plan can be modified, yes, then you can make your case to our quote-unquote responsible and sensible and competent lawmakers. Unfortunately, we don't have many of those.
Because, I get the feeling, and I think most people in Liberia don't really seem to grasp this, that the people in West Point, in New Crew Town, and all of those coastal areas of the city, those people are being left to their own devices. And in the event there's a weather catastrophe of some sort, there will be a whole bunch of people.
Oh, without question. Any kind of real high rising, And the area, to be honest, we used to have a whole soccer field down there on the beach, right in Rocktown. The erosion has taken away that soccer field. This stuff is right up on the rocks now against the buildings. So, there's a lot of that going on, and the government is not really looking at the solution, even though there's significant funding that comes out there, international funding, if you have a real effective, environmental plan that that resonates with the targets that people are setting out there, resonates with climate change, resonates with green. But we just don't have it. I don't see it happening. I don't see what TAPA is doing at EPA. It's we are in a tough situation, man. And if Liberian people can wake up, things will only get worse. Things will only get worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So George, I think we've done a good hour. Is there anything else that
No,
I
I
know?
think we will watch and see where we head
But
over
that's
the
quick.
next
Yeah, but that's
couple
quickly.
of.
Yes, yesterday the Liberty Party and
Mhm.
the ANC revised the CPP agreement, and they had an acceptance of the new document, and it just puts them on the path. Now they need to see how they can build a stronger coalition with other political entities, other stakeholders, other parties, and build a formidable force against the current government for the coming 2023 elections. So I don't
So
know if you saw
so
anything about that, but what are your thoughts
what
on
what
that?
what happened to your party?
Your party is close to a briefcase party. You're our man from Cotton, but you is not a political staple. You know, um, his time has passed, and I think he needs to reconsider his options. He's supporting Joseph Boyka, definitely, but without the CPP, your party is not relevant. You know, and that was one of the major mistake of the CPP to bring all parties in at an equal level. I mean, look at the percentage of votes that you got in 2017. You look at what ANC got, you look at what UP got. But I guess everybody has some kind of need that they put everything on an equal basis, and which was wrong. So every voice at the table felt they were equal and could just say anything. And basically, that led to the destruction of what was the full collaborating parties in the CPP. Now there's two. I hope they can go and add more to make this a stronger coalition built around it. And the work is with the people. The work really is with the mindset of the people. If the people can be educated that what is happening in Liberia today is not what it should be, there's really an opportunity for a better Liberia, and you can lay some kind of roadmap out to them on how you can get there. Because this government can tell, and this government been there 6 years and has not been able to tell. You break down all the segments of the population, the pimping boys, the keke boys, the market women, the disadvantaged youths, the students, the young boys, the petty traders, all of those segments of the society, the teachers, the healthcare workers, the concession workers, they are all being abused. They have been left to themselves. So until there's a government that can say, look, this is the big pie we have in this country. This is the slice that you could get if we do X, Y, Z. If you can lay out those for the people, and they can't understand that that's what needs to happen for them to be able to move forward, we just in a loop.
But hold on. I want to leave this with you guys as food for thought. Hold on.
What is it supposed to be?
Hold on. You will see it. Give me a second.
Okay.
All right. Where my thing at? Share. Slides. Computer. Upload file. Snag it.
So for all those who've been commenting, definitely we really appreciate it. Jaja, Titi Nimland, Imoba Koli, Hawanatu, Mansure. That name found Hawanatu. Who else there? Koskoma, definitely. Imoba Koli, Reggie, Nasa, who has some very strong points. Yeah, we appreciate the support. You know.
So Isaac, let me share this with you.
Well, you got a right to share, brother. Go ahead.
No. I'm trying to upload it, but it's giving me a hard time. So I'll just give you the file here real quick.
Okay.
Share it.
You send me WhatsApp?
Oh, hold on. Details. Sort by date. Yep. View. Large icons. Okay, here we go. I don't even know what happened there. What happened? I was trying to share a file on WhatsApp.
A file with me. It didn't come through.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll shut it down. Start it again.
So let me be patient with our man George. Let's see what he got.
I'll just leave this out here as food for thought,
so
people can understand when we're talking about. Let me see. File. Save. Okay. All right. Share that file with the people. But you see what that is?
The image is an image, right?
Yeah. But you see what the image is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the image from City Hall.
Let me share it.
And the river in the back. So just now we're talking about how vulnerable the people in West Point and all of those places are. It's not just them.
Oh yeah, I mean, hey.
So what I'm saying to you is from the Atlantic Ocean.
Probably, I don't know if our geology have done that. Yeah.
It's only 2,500 feet.
Yeah. That's not much.
So if we had a huge water situation, all of these places are vulnerable. All of them.
Yeah, I mean, Monrovia is swamp. It's definitely vulnerable. Look at what Capitol Hill is, University of Liberia, and
if we start looking at what's coming down the road with regards to climate emergency for Liberia, we have to start thinking really, really seriously, because with the level of population in Monrovia, with the lack of preparation, it could be a disaster.
You know what's the disaster management budget? That only salaries for a few people. It's a serious disaster we can handle. But George, this is revealing though. I didn't know that distance was only 2,500 feet. 500 feet. That is like nothing.
20. That's a mile is 5,000 feet, I think. That's a half a mile.
It is, because it's 5,000 plus really for a mile. 5,280 is a mile. 5,280 feet. So this is like half a mile, 0.47 of a mile, really.
Right.
And that is scary.
So I'm just saying, we got to start to look at all of these things in terms of planning for Liberia's future. But it comes back to saying, how do we put together a government program that will encourage people to move out of Monrovia?
We got to incentivize them and make agriculture attractive.
They got to move out of Monrovia because
tourism
at
attractive.
At the end of the day, we can't build our way out of this.
No.
We don't have the funding, and the rest of the country will suffer.
Because again, is it worth putting everything into Monrovia, this overpopulated, already overly congested place, versus developing other parts of the country that won't face these environmental constraints, no time soon? I think it's the latter. So it's about the priorities the new government will set, because this government is not setting those priorities. They're not looking along these lines. They're not looking at the future. For most of them, it's about what's in it for me right now. What can I eat? Is my time to eat or my time to steal? So that's just what it is.
So
yeah, that's something really, really introspective you left with us. We'll think about it and share this. I mean, I never knew this was just,
it's just a sliver of land.
0.5 to the river. And that river, though, the garbage they put in that river, and some people are putting garbage to build so they can go and build on. I mean, George, is no fun what's happening in Liberia with the environment. It's a terrible situation. And we can only hope that the next government will have a serious environmental team that would look at,
like I said, I don't see
and work with
us having the budget to do any kind of remediation on in Monrovia.
No,
without the rest of the country suffering. So we got to move to some sort of industry that will encourage. We got to have a depopulation plan for Monrovia for the next 10 years.
Yes.
If we say we want to reduce the population of Monrovia,
part of that got to be a migration of the capital. You shift the
by
capital
40%.
The government to a whole new, you build a whole new city, or just have the plans for a whole new city, of well-developed city, like Zekepa that they were trying to plan before, right there, Bong, Bassa, Nima, I guess, and Riverside, somewhere in that intersection. And that's a great place to put a capital city in my mind. But who knows if it will happen. But George, thank you. I mean, I think we'll come back. We look forward to next week. This Friday, hopefully Mobile Kessler will be there. We'll go with our weekend review. A lot of things happened this week, and we'll be able to recap some of them, and we'll be able to extensively get into Solomon George and what he's trying to say, his original statement. But then I will have found the recording and be able to play it for
George
people.
wants a sovereign wealth fund.
Yeah, like Shavazi, get another road fund. We want to do that. So yeah, for everybody who listen or will listen,
we'll see you all next week.
For taking the time, and we'll see you next week. Peace.